So, good morning. We're playing today, I think, is what we're doing. We're coming together to play and have fun and feel that energy of joy moving through us. So, something I heard recently, there's as many interpretations of the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden as there are people to tell the story. But there's one that I ran across recently that really got my attention. This woman by the name of Danielle Schreier, who is an author and a minister in the Matthew Fox original blessing tradition, if you are familiar with that. And so here is her interpretation. She said, her story, right? God fashions the human from the fertile land itself, and only afterward places them in the safe confines of the garden. After they eat the fruit, God sends the man and woman back into the fertile land to discover God's goodness, even among the thorns and the thistles. That's different, isn't it? That's different. So rather than punishing Adam and Eve for this horrible act of, eating the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, he places them back into the fertile land from where they were formed and charges them with seeing and bringing God's goodness to a land full of thistles and thorns. A land full of thistles and thorns. Sound familiar? A little like the world in which we live now? Yeah. So, today, being and becoming. It's two aspects of ourselves, two ways of expressing, two ways of experiencing ourselves that can really work in perfect balance together. And it's kind of a different way of understanding the concept that I was sharing for the last few weeks of this living at the intersection of fully divine and fully human. It's kind of a different way of understanding that. So let's look at being first. So being, I sort of think about it as kind of a blissful, complete knowing of who we truly are. Completely understanding that you are the infinite divine one expressing and endowed by your Creator with all of the qualities of itself. So love, joy, wholeness and well-being, peace, wisdom, creativity, abundant good, right? All of that. It's really experiencing the fullness of our divine self. And so like Adam and Eve, before they ate of the fruit, when they're in the garden, right, they're blissfully being. They're being. They're just being. They're experiencing love and harmony and all needs met. And, they don't have to work. They don't have to toil. There's no pain in childbirth yet. They're just enjoying life and being. Sounds great, right? Heaven, Garden of Eden. But is that enough? Is that enough? I mean, how long could you stay at a wonderful meditation retreat in a beautiful part of the world? Let's say Bali, right? Bali. You're just strolling the beach and meditating all day. People are taking care of your needs. You're eating all this tropical fruit, not apples. Tropical fruit. You're enjoying life. That's good. Where can I buy that ticket? I want to go today. But I'm wondering how long it would be before I got bored. I think maybe a couple weeks. I think maybe I could do it a couple weeks, and then I get bored. I think we'd all get bored because we are meant to move forward. We're meant to apply ourselves. We're meant to grow into our full potential. We're meant to practice the harmonica for 2 years. We're meant to build those muscles so we can climb the mountain, and from that place express the fullness of who we are, express our love, the divine gifts that we have with the world, that which is the becoming part. So I think that's why we're here, really, is to realize the fullness of who we are to live into that, and then to bring God's goodness, the divine qualities that are within us, to a world of thistles and thorns. To this world of thistles and thorns, right? That's I think, why we're here, why we're created. Now, some situations are more thornier than others, right? Yeah, right. In your life, it could be, the thorns could be a relationship challenge, a relationship with a family member, loved one, a workmate, or it could be the thistles of a health challenge, or it could be just trying to make your paycheck stretch during this intense time of intense inflation, and many other things, right? Of course, we know that they're thornier situations, like what happened in Boston, the hate crime. Our African American brothers and sisters gunned down in a supermarket, shopping for food. Or the situation in Ukraine. The people, they're separated from their loved ones. They have to say goodbye to their husbands and their fathers, not knowing if they'll ever see them again. And many times they won't. Or maybe, just hunkering down in a basement of a building that's being bombed day after day, not seeing the sun for a couple of weeks. And worse. We know that there's worse things that are happening there that we don't want to think about. So how do we see God's goodness in that? More importantly, how do we bring God's goodness to those situations? To those very, very thorny situations? Well, people are. People do. They are. There are individuals and local companies and the New York State government that is all, coming together to support the victims. I think it's Al Sharpton who is paying for the funerals of, all of the people who passed. And the government is bringing in money to fund grief support and counseling and all of that. So, that's something we can donate to and support to. And hold in prayer, always hold in prayer. We want that counteract. We want it to, our prayers and our loving energy counteracts the hate. That's, we're here to anchor that love, healing energy that counteracts the hate. And we stand for something. We stand for inclusion and love of everyone, and actively being anti-racist. That's where we want to stand and embrace that community in as many ways as we can. And in Ukraine, there are organizations set up there in the country and in the bordering countries, helping millions of refugees that are fleeing with just a backpack. Everything they own, everything they could fit in a backpack. And then there's Chef Andre. Heard about Chef Andre? Oh, yeah. He's my hero. He has been cooking and feeding people, millions of people, in the aftermath of a disaster since Katrina. I think he started in Katrina. He's been there after every natural disaster. This is his first war, though. And so his organization, World Central Kitchen, they set up the day after Russia invaded. And they've been feeding, cooking and feeding millions of people. Well, what you might imagine could happen, happened. And a missile struck the kitchen and completely destroyed it on April 18th. And 5 volunteers were injured. It's a miracle no one died. But immediately after that happened, they said, well, I guess we're going to move over here. We're going to move to another location and set up again. What is this indomitable spirit? He's He's so positive. And he said right after the bombing, he says, you see, goodness always shines through. And we're going to keep cooking and feeding as many people as we can. That's it. And it's not like he's not scared, He's not fearless. He readily admits that he's frightened. There's bombs going off. There's landmines. There's sirens going off all the time. But he says, we're not going to find the solution unless we take some risk. So that his organization, the people who are helping out in Buffalo. Did I say Buffalo before? I said Boston, didn't I? I'm sorry, I meant Buffalo. You were probably real confused. It's like, did that happen somewhere else in Boston? Oh, I'm sorry. No, Buffalo, yeah. Same state. No. Boston is in Massachusetts. God, get it together. Oh, yeah. Okay, there was a disaster there, too, the Boston Marathon bombing. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Oh, no, it's really no laughing matter. Okay, so anyway, the people who come up and are of service and bring their hope, they're bringing hope, they're bringing love, they're bringing healing energy, they're bringing compassion to these very thorny situations. This is the energy of becoming. This is the manifestation of the energy of becoming as it relates to being of service in the world. As it relates to being of service in the world. Yeah, I've talked a few times before about the Jewish practice of tikkun olam. This idea of repairing the world. Christianity has a similar practice. Islam has a similar practice. Buddhism has a similar practice. Whatever faith or philosophy understands that we're all one, we're all connected. When one of us is suffering, we're all suffering. So the energy of becoming is opening our heart and bringing hope, bringing the divine qualities of love and compassion and healing to situations that we see in the world. Now, we can also manifest this idea of becoming in our own personal lives. We can recognize and call forth the divine presence, the divine qualities in areas of our lives that are thorny and thistly, right? Every time we practice forgiveness, we are bringing love to the thorns of hatred, hurt, grievance. Every time we use affirmative prayer to bring wholeness and well-being to our physical body, and we couple that with good eating, healthy exercise, that all works together, we are bringing the divine quality of wholeness, of healing to the thorns of illness. Every time we stretch what we think we can do and move forward towards our goal, towards our heart's desires, take an action, we're growing into our full potential, and we are bringing that quality, that divine quality of joy and fulfillment to the thorns of the pain of settling for less. So we can do it, right? We have it within us. So take a moment now and do a brief inventory. If you want to close your eyes, if it's helpful for you, and to kind of do a brief inventory in your life of where you might have experienced or are experiencing now those thorns and thistles. And you might want to look at areas like relationships, personal love relationships, family, co-workers. Are there any thorns there? Or physical body, Your physical well-being, any thorns in that area. You might want to look at your career, your work in the world, or your expression in the world, or any thorns there that you can find. Finances, your financial situation, any thorns in that area? Let's take a look at that. Your peace of mind, your mental and emotional well-being, any thistles in that area? Now, there are any other area? And how long have those thorns been there? How long have those thorns been growing? All right, in this moment, embracing this idea of becoming, of bringing these divine qualities, which are already within you. They're already who and what you are, right? You're endowed by your Creator with all of the qualities of itself because you are itself expressing. So all of those qualities are yours. Bringing those qualities to that thorny situation in your life and see if maybe one of those qualities might really help that situation and soften those thorns, soften those thistles, and reveal more of the divine light that is underlying that situation. So look at the quality of love. Would that be it? Would it be the quality of joy? The quality of wholeness and well-being? The quality of peace? How about release? Creativity, wisdom, power, enthusiasm. Some of our 12 powers. What about the quality of abundant good? That is a divine quality. It is all in the universe. This universe is infinitely abundant. We're part of it. That infinite abundance of good is within us. Can you see how bringing that, whatever quality fits with your situation, bringing that quality to these thorns in that particular situation, and just seeing the thorns relax, dissolve, the thistles begin to lay down, and seeing the divine light, the blossoming of wholeness, the blossoming of infinite good in that area. Okay, open your eyes and come on back. And so now, in order to grow into the wholeness of who we are, in order to bring these divine qualities to these areas, these situations, the thorny situations in our life, to be effective in helping to heal the world, bringing healing and hope and compassion to the world, which is the energy of becoming, we need to balance that out with being. Balance it out. We need to balance it out. We need to reset ourselves, realign ourselves with the spiritual essence of who we are on a regular basis. Otherwise, we get overwhelmed, we burn out, or we let the ego run with the show, right? So it's so important to balance it out with the energy of being. So how do we nurture that state of beingness? Well, nurture is the right word. You know, it's really thinking about nurturing that inner being that we are. Now it would be nice to go to that retreat, that meditation retreat in Bali, and just meditate and have your needs met and feel peaceful, feel that energy of being. It's on my bucket list. But here's the thing. We can experience that quality of being wherever we are, whatever we're doing, at any moment. To have a little mini retreat, right? We can have a mini retreat at any moment. It's just an intention to carve out some space, let go of the calendar, let go of the clock, let go of the to-do list, and just be. Just breathe and listen to the birds sing. Or watch the clouds. When's the last time you just sat up and looked up and watched the clouds move? Or being in nature, like Chris was sharing with us last week, this wonderful experience that is possible when we're just communing with nature and sharing that wonderful energy with the trees, you know, how they share with us. Do that sort of forest bathing, right? That beautiful energy. That helps to awaken. All of this is resetting ourselves and helping us to awaken that quality of beingness, that pure essence. Another way is just walking very slowly. Thich Nhat Hanh had the suggestion where you think about every step that you take. Every time you touch the earth with your foot, you're kissing the earth. Isn't that beautiful? Every step, you're kissing the earth. So you just, walk. You might want to even do it in our sacred spaces here and just take a slow walk, thinking of each foot kissing the earth. Whew. That's going to be peaceful. That's going to realign you. You can even do it at your desk. If you're at your desk all day long, you tend to get a little tense, working on your computer. I know I do. And the muscles get up here, my shoulders get up here. So take a minute and a half, a few times a day, to just close your eyes, sit back, keep your chin up, and start breathing slowly and deeply. In fact, you can do where you count it. Let's do this together. Breathe in slowly to count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Once again. 1. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do that 3 or 4 times. You can already feel peaceful, right? You can already feel like you've reset yourself. You've centered yourself. It feels so good to just connect with the breath. And you might want to play with the numbers. It doesn't have to be 588. It could be 888 or 555. But you do that 3 or 4 times in a row, I guarantee you are just in a different place. You're centered, you're radiant, you're alive, and you're more likely. See, here's the thing. We're balancing being with becoming. When we bring these two things into balance, we're much more effective at seeing the good in the situation, right? Seeing the good in the situation. That's the thing that Chef Andre, he focuses on the good in people. He focuses on the good. He focuses on the blessing. He focuses on the possibility. That's key, right? That is key. And that brings us back to our practice of gratitude, which is this month. The merry, merry month of May is our month to practice gratitude. You're all given gratitude journals, and have you been keeping that? And after you've been practicing it for a while, it becomes easier to see the blessing in the challenge, doesn't it? It becomes easier to see the possibilities. And this is what we want to do. We want to see the possibilities, to see the good, because that helps us become more effective. We know where to go and, what to work for. So keep that practice of gratitude, we've got another week to go, another week and a half in the month of May to build that practice. So balancing, we see we're bringing it into perfect balance. And when we do this, we're more effective in our lives, more effective in the world, and we are creating a virtual Garden of Eden. Right? All right, namaste.